If you've been sweating like I have all week long, you know that you need some help. You need to know about what is the right thing to do, especially when it's that hot and it's that bad out. I have Kevin Handke with me. He's the Emergency Preparedness Coordinator here at UnityPoint Health St. Luke's. And come on, help me out here. Should I even be outside?
Today with the air quality, probably not the best thing to do
It's
for
not
us,
a good day for that.
But in the heat like last week, I mean, if we're hydrated prior to going out there, we're okay.
Okay, but what does that mean? Hydrated? Sure, I'll drink a cup of coffee or I'll have, a Coke or something. Is that what I want to do?
No, and as you've seen when I come, I had a Mountain Dew standing.
Yes, you
Not
did.
great. Water, Gatorade, outside all day.
So how much do I actually, okay, let's say I'm going to go, I'll just go out for a day. I'm going to go to the park or whatever. How much do I need?
Most people say when you go out, we should be drinking 70 to 100 ounces of water. So half a gallon of water a day is what we should normally drink.
Wow.
And a lot of times you can gauge it as if you have the urgency to go to the bathroom, we're hydrated enough.
Okay, so
if
I need
we're
to,
not,
the need to pee. The need to pee is what we need to know. Okay, but when? Do I just start right away in the morning when I get up and then?
Throughout the day, we don't want to do it all in one shot because we overload our system. But throughout the day, we should be able to cover that all the way through into the evening before we go to bed. The thing to remember too, if you're going to use that Powerade or Gatorade, don't drink solely that because it has too much sodium in it. So you want to do water, then a Gatorade. We kind of want to alternate that with that.
Now, I felt sickly and I keep thinking, I didn't hydrate enough. Is that really a sign of that?
Yep, that's a sign of that. Maybe you ate too much before you went out in the heat, and we want to eat really a light breakfast, lunch, whatever before we go out. So we don't want to have full bellies like we have at Thanksgiving from Grandma's meals, but we want to have something in, but not a lot.
There you just collapse and have a nap afterwards.
That's right.
But what about exercising? Do I need to really step it up? And is it too late at some point?
It's better if we exercise in better shape when we go out in those environments because the body will tolerate it a little bit better with that. Anytime doing exercise is good for us, but in the extreme heats, exercising might be a little bit too much strenuous for us because we'll get our body temperatures too high. And if we have that happen, we really could potentially cause ourselves a seizure, and that's not good.
Oh, wow. Now, do I want really, really cold water?
Cold water tastes great because you feel that cold going down.
Right.
But actually more room temperature water is probably better for us, so it's not as big a shock on the system as the ice cold water is.
Okay, if I feel sickly, then do I want to just drink a lot of water at that point, or is that a stupid thing to do?
Drink some water, but we don't want to drink too much because if we have an upset stomach, we may have that come back out. But the big thing is to get out of that environment. And even if it's just under a shade tree with some wind blowing on you, maybe a cool cloth around your neck, we just want to try to bring that body temperature down and just drink as much as we can, as long as we can tolerate it.
Should you even exercise on a hot day outside? Should you even go walking?
I guess it's up to each individual. Some of the guys gals that are really physically fit, it's probably okay for them.
That is not me right now, okay?
Yeah, or me neither. But not as much, probably just because of the extreme heat. So we really want to watch ourselves because we sweat and that loses all our electrolytes, and that's when we start having issues.
Okay, what are the signs then of heat stroke?
So heat stroke's the worst, and that's when we'll probably lose our sensation to sweat. So that's how we cool ourselves, is by sweating.
So if I don't sweat, that's a bad sign.
That's a bad sign. With that, the early on phases is going to be some cramps, muscle cramps. That's going to be early as your electrolytes start to get lower, potassium, sodium, things like that. And then the heat exhaustion, you start getting the headache, the nausea, maybe some vomiting with that.
Oh, wow.
Kind of like flu-like symptoms with that. Then that point, we really need to get out of the environment, get ourselves cooled off, get some of those hydrations back in us. And on the heat stroke side, which is the worst, is that is a true medical emergency. We potentially could have seizures, we could have brain damage because our core temperature goes so high. We actually need to seek medical help for that.
So when should I go? And should I take myself or get somebody else to take me?
If we're in a heat stroke phase where we're starting to lose consciousness,
right,
we need to call 911. Have the awesome crews that we have come out and get you in. They can start IVs, they can get you in a cool environment. But if it's that heat exhaustion where you're just feeling really nauseated, you can't keep anything down, then I would probably take myself to the hospital. We can get some medicines to help and get you hydrated back up.
How common is this? Is this a big problem
in
that
the
we
weather
see?
that we had the last 2 weeks? A big it's very common. And with ragbri going on and starting with that, huge.
I could not do that. I would be really worried about it. How about those who work outside? If you're a lifeguard or if you're a construction worker?
A lot of the construction guys, when you see them, when you come to work, you stop at the gas station, get that caffeine that we're not supposed to
They
do.
get that big thing?
Yeah, but they're drinking a lot of water. They know, and they get used to that environment. They wear light colored clothes, so the sun reflects instead of absorbs. The
So
sun.
we're bad.
Yep,
we're bad. We don't want to wear that. If I had something white on, it'd be much better for me.
Yep.
How about a hat?
Hat works well. Our noggins are great for releasing heat or bringing heat in with us. So, and you see the babies, we keep little hats on them to keep them warm. But
Right.
for us, we want to keep that sun off the top of the head so we don't cook.
Okay, what about long pants versus short pants?
Obviously, longer is going to be okay because it's going to protect us from the sunlight and getting a sunburn.
Okay.
So that burn component of it can really start to mess with our dehydration also.
And then I obviously have to have sunscreen if I'm outside, right?
You and me both.
Right.
With that, if we're going to be outside in moderation, shorts are more comfortable, that's okay. Sunscreen to kind of keep that sun from getting the burns and things like that, that's okay.
How long would you go before going inside?
It depends on, if I'm feeling okay, I'm not feeling that nausea, I'm sweating good, I don't feel like I'm starting to get overcome and like that, it varies. But I would definitely, if I'm outside for a couple hours, then maybe go inside for a little bit, or at least in the shade, drink some water, Gatorade, Powerade, and just rehydrate. And then,
Is this something that we only see during the warm weather period, or could it happen during like spring or fall? Or
we could see it in the spring and fall, especially when we have those what they would call Indian summers,
right?
With that, where we get high humidity and things like that. We get a day where it's 80 degrees at, and those we can still see it then too.
Okay, now I want to veer a little bit because today we've had these kind of it's smoke that's coming from Canada, is that right?
Yes, correct.
And what does that do for us? Because I've been like wanting to sneeze all day long.
So the air quality that we have here in the Siouxland area is actually really poor based off of that. And it's the wildfires, and what the wildfires bring down with it is that carbon dioxide, the black carbon, the brown carbon that it's also called in there. So that's actually what we're having in the air here. So when we breathe that in, people that have lung issues or allergies or asthma like that, it disturbs us exchanging our carbon dioxide and our oxygen in there and doesn't allow us to do that very well, and it introduces toxins in our body. So those people that have lung issues, heart issues, asthma, this weather really affects
So we
them.
want to stay inside.
Yeah, the goal is to stay inside. Try to have your air conditioner on. Don't have your windows open even though it's nice cool breeze outside, because you want that fresh air to go through the filter.
A filter.
And a HEPA filter is what we want it to go through, so that's what's in the house.
Should I wear a mask outside?
Outside, if we're going to be outside in this environment, a surgical mask doesn't work because the particles are too small. We need to wear an N95 mask.
And we all don't have those,
Yes, and those
right?
sometimes they're better getting a hold of them now, but there's still some shortages around with it, and getting ones that are actually truly N95 masks and make sure that they fit tight so you don't get any air around them. That's truly, in this environment with the carbon and stuff, that's what we need.
So my advice is stay in. I think
Correct.
that's my best advice for that one, right?
Yep.
And then to keep cool, we hydrate.
Hydrate with not coffee, not pop, and not alcoholic beverages.
Boy, that kills it all for us, doesn't it? But we'll stay cooler, we'll be better off, and we won't have any of these problems.
Correct.
Heat Stroke Awareness Day is Saturday.
Yes, it is.
We're all ready for that, so stay safe.